Hi everyone, Keith Arkenberg Farms, and today I'm going to talk to you about the flower patch. The flower patch is a very good product to go and sell with your market garden at the farmer's market, and we make what we like to refer to as a farmer's market bouquet. So, talk a little bit about this, and then I'll show you how to cut them, how to put them together, and tell you what we actually get for them. So, let me show you. So we're here in the flower patch. This is a 20 by roughly 40, I think it's more 38-ish feet long. Got everything covered with landscape fabric pretty much. Have some perennials over here that are in leaf mulch, keep the weeds down. The landscape fabric does really good on keeping the weeds down. We basically at this point grow what's easy to grow. We're not looking for high value, you know, $3-4 a stem, $1 or $2 a stem. We're looking for a market bouquet. Now, what is a market bouquet? It's very simple. It's something that most people buy as a gesture for somebody else. Guy with his girlfriend buys it for his girlfriend. Guy with his wife buys it for her wife. People come and buy them for their parents. It's, I don't want to say not a high quality bouquet because we grow really nice looking flowers, but you're more purchasing it for the gesture than you're purchasing it for the long base life. And with that, like I said, we grow what is easy for that and price it at a point for that purpose as well. We basically grow a whole lot of zinnias. I mean, we've got all different color zinnias throughout here. We find Berryhill Giants, California Giants are the best. Here's some Profusion mix that I got, but they're shorter. I can get cuttings off them. It's just a little harder. We have some bachelor buttons over here, which if they're tall, you need to support them. That's what we're finding out. We've just been doing this for a couple years and it's getting better and better each year. So we still are trying to learn as well. So don't take the growing part as truth. Some pin cushions, and then our beautiful celosias, which they've kind of, we got a bunch of the original ones that were the tail, spike, snake, whatever you want to call them. And we had coxcombs in here too, the big celosias that get real wide. Here's kind of a variation of that right there. But if you grow them in one spot, you're going to have them in one spot. You can see all the darker color down here at the bottom. That is all of the seeds in them. So they're all constantly getting intermixed and interbred. So we do get some really cool, weird looking ones. These are ones we call the ruffles, which have like multiple heads on them. They kind of split and flail out a little bit. And then of course, which back here, they're pretty much done. Not sure the common name. Black-eyed Susans in our area. They do okay. I found the ones that have the color in them, people like better. People really don't like the yellow flowers much. And then we have these orange Cosmos. I've been saving this specific seed for a couple of years. They've got a bigger, like a double ruffle on them, which makes them much better. I find the other ones just don't really hold up that well. And then of course, the remnants of our sunflowers. Sunflower bouquets are really easy. Cut off stems, length of your arm and longer, bunch them together, 4 or 5 in a bunch. You can sell them just like that. Now we'll actually get to the cutting and producing the bouquet here in a second, but first I want to talk about the economics of this. Whole entire area, I think I have roughly $100 in seed I purchase each year. Throw down some fertilizer, another 20, got the landscape fabric. Pretty much everything's planted on 18-inch centers, so 18 inches all the way down, 2 rows all the way down, and we stagger the 18 so they, you know, go back and forth. So with our market, we're aiming for a very specific price point for our bouquets. We started at 7, moved to 6, now we're at 5. That seems to be the optimal number. That's just what people in our region will spend. I know people get a lot more for the bouquet that I'm going to show you that I'm going to build here later. Probably won't be cutting out of here because this is going to be cut out by the time I actually get to that. But that's what we have to do in our region. We sell roughly 30 a week, plus about $190-ish we're getting off them. But I will add that the labor on this is much more than you would actually think to actually not grow them, to harvest them and actually put together the bouquets. So it becomes that one extra thing on your farm, and you really need to have one person that's solely dedicated to this. My mother actually does it. She just lives right over that way. So she comes up on Fridays, cuts them, takes her about, roughly an hour and a half to cut them. Trying to work on her technique because she's walking down and back quite a few times when she's harvesting. But then she'll spend, about 4 or 5 hours actually bunching them. That equals out to about 7 hours. Most employees around in our area working on a farm, $12 an hour, $96, bringing $196. So that's about $100 extra per week for the farm, which makes it worth doing. Not worth doing if I've got to do it, because I've got so many other things to do. I can't devote that much time on a Friday, even if I could say get it done in, let's say 3 hours, 4 hours. That's not time I have on a Friday. So you really, really have to consider the time involved to do this if you're going to do this. And then you have to do it the night before because you want them fresh for market, because especially zinnias, their base life is only about 5 days. Now we'll move out to the other field because this is going to be gone by the time I actually cut them, and I'll show you how we cut them. I'll bunch up some bouquets and show you the product that we actually sell. Now we're out here in the weeds. We're going to harvest some of these zinnias. These are actually from the flower patch last year. Used to be way out in the acreage, but one thing I figured out this year was if I'm going to grow something that looks as nice as this, why am I putting it way out in the field instead of right up by my house where I get to see them all the time? People driving up the driveway get to see them all the time. So we moved them up there. But again, I'm not really allowed to harvest on that patch. So we're going to come out here and get a couple of these zinnias. So the idea is you want to cut low. So you want a stem usually about the length of your arm. So if you put your elbow right about where the bloom is and you reach down, that's going to give you a good spot to actually cut at. So we got our bloom. Up here is where the neck is soft, so you do not want to hold it by there. Just simply strip down the leaves and then pluck the last 2 upwards. I cut it at a little bit of an angle. I want it more of an angle. That way when I put it down in the bucket of water, it'll actually take water up into it. So I'm going to go through each of the bouquets we do. We try to do about 5 or 6 zinnias a piece in them, and then other flowers on top of them. So we want 5 or 6 good blooms. Currently we only have zinnias, so I'm going to do those. Sometimes you can put the ones that haven't bloomed in there, but I prefer to put the nicer ones in. And like I said, the longer stem the better. Hold strip. And this one's going to be a little monochromatic because that looks like the only color that is really growing out here currently are these nice purple and like this cream one here. I have found the white ones really do not stand up that well. They get bruised or something weird, so they just kind of look bad after a couple days. And we also have a variety up there that gets this really cool looking curved leaves where the leaves curl underneath each other, but everybody thinks they're dying, so nobody will buy the darn things. So we've tried to avoid those in the mix altogether. You want to cut deep even if you have branches in the way. Just take those off. You'll get more blooms that way in the future because it'll actually push up from the bottom. So we're at 2, 4, 5. We'll cut one more. So I got a different variety in here. And I've got one opening up. I'll take that in there too. That'll make a nice little bit of background. I'm going to move up and cut one of the coxcombs real quick. One of the celosias, because I do not believe I have any out here. And very simple, same thing, except you want to leave about that much greenery at the top of it with the spike, so it kind of creates a background behind the bouquet itself. And very important as well, branded bucket. Great for the farmer's market, and we also harvest into them. The next part's actually arranging them. What we typically do is have a whole bunch in the bucket here, but we're just making one. So we're going to start with basically our background, which are our 2 celosia type. We'll kind of give them a little bit of stagger, And then we'll start coming in with our filler flowers and kind of work kind of down in a zigzag pattern. I find that really kind of helps best break everything up. And we also want to kind of switch the colors around, having them all at different levels to build a nice looking bouquet here. So you just kind of do it by eye, and after you put together a couple, you start putting together a couple more, and a couple more, until you end up with something you actually really like. But with us, they're all different. I'm going to take this really long one that hasn't bloomed yet, and we'll put it up top because that'll be a surprise bloom that comes out later. Now we want to even up all of our stems at the base. So I'm going to bring it off the table to the point of our shortest stem. And we just go in, cut at an angle, drop them off to where they're about even. Next part, we need to get rubber band, use a paper towel, go up from the bottom to get it over the bottom and wrap up and around so we're completely wrapping around the base of the flowers themselves. Now, rubber band, just like we're bunching anything, go around a bunch of times. So we have a bouquet that looks about like that. Like I said, they aren't anything super fancy, super special, super big, but they are, for the price point of our market, what people want. Final part is, we use these super awesome, super cheap sleeves because in our market, people want to buy the same thing they get at the grocery store, which comes in something like this, but higher quality. So we have to keep it familiar with what they're used to purchasing. They do sell a bunch of really fancy looking craft paper ones, but they're more expensive, and actually people don't buy them as much at our market because they can't see what's inside. You'll see with the display here in a second that when this is displayed on the stand itself, it really needs to have this clear front for people to see, and it also helps preserve them, keeps the wind and the sun off them. Final step is piece of bale and twine. We tie up a little ways on it, do a simple little bow like you're tying your shoelaces. And there we go. I mean, it's literally as simple as that. That's your farmer's market bouquet. That's what people want. This is what we sell for $5. Now I will show you the market stand. I'm not going to be able to speak in front of it because it becomes very difficult for the market to actually do that. But I'll put an image up and kind of talk to you about it, and I'll show you the parts and pieces first. But before I do that, dry paper towel on the bottom goes back in the bucket of water. Before we take these to market, we actually take 1 quart of water, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, mix into our water, helps them work a lot better. One thing I will tell you is you have to keep the water level down on them. You only want it on the bottom of the stems because the zinnias will wilt very quickly if you start going up on the stem on them. So here's our super simple market display. This is actually our breadboard sign that we had where we could take in and out the things that we wanted to put on it. But we converted it over into a flower stand. These are 2-inch pieces of PVC pipe painted with an end cap. And I printed some little hooks on there, a 3D printer. that happen to go nice and easily over this. So what we'll do is come out in the morning, load this thing up with these different containers, kind of stagger them all the way down the board. The rest will sit like next to it on a crate in our branded buckets on both sides, but we'll have a nice display here. And it seems like more people pick from these than they'll go through the little buckets. They kind of think that those are the ones for sale and those are the ones that are going to go first. And then from there, we take our bouquets, drop them down in the water, and after you have the board completely filled up, which I'll show you a picture in a second, it looks really nice. Got the price up top so nobody can miss it, which even when you're up top with your higher stuff, you can still see it, and everybody's looking down, seeing through the nice clear front and seeing what they're getting. So here's what our buckets look the night before the market. And here's up on our actual display board. Here's another shot, seeing it full of flowers. Some nice sunflower bouquets I put together earlier this year. There it is centered in the front of the market stand with the display buckets. And that is what it looks like when you've had a successful day with your flowers at the market. Well, that's market garden bouquet cut flowers in a nutshell. It is literally simple as that. We plant the zinnias, barely water them. We got some other things that grow great without watering them. The trick is to grow the things that grow great in your area, unless you're going to take it to the next level and start selling to florists and events and all that stuff. We have no desire to do that. We just want another addition to our farmers market stand to bring in more people and more income. This is in the center of our stand, so it brings people in to look at it, and then we get them flowing through the stand to actually purchase produce as well. And it looks nice, it helps, makes everything look a lot better. So, as always, hope y'all like what you saw today. Thought it was useful. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank y'all, have a good day.